Good day and welcome to today's broadcast. A wonderful day in Zambia, Saturday, but an apprehensive date. We have a lot to share. So kindly share the broadcast. Share to your friends, to your colleagues, quickly. There are so many pronouncements and information to share with you. You are aware of the media in Zambia is totally clamped down. They may not say the things we say on this program. So kindly share. Let's have as many people as possible, because usually you have all of you calling me. What is the state of this? What has happened? If they filed the petition, what is what? Isen pansaka wonse tumfwane pano panda ne amano. We share the information that is available. And then, my phone then will buzz less. So quickly share the. Thank you very much for sharing, and thank you for joining us. It's our EMV breakfast show this morning. Let's start with the big issues that is affecting our country. Let's start with the matters regarding Honorable Mutotwe Kafwaya and the mourning period. Just continue to share the broadcast so that we give some of the up-to-date information. We noted, just as colleagues, that there are a few people visiting the funeral home. We encourage you, especially you senior leaders, if there's any time the widow needs you, the family needs you, it is now. So my appeal is that find time in your busy schedule, prioritize in your schedule to go and visit the family and support the family. Up to now, cabinet has not come in. Remember, when a minister dies, they are entitled to certain things, including an official or state burial, a funeral and burial. Cabinet office would usually, immediately they hear about the demise of the minister, they will send staff from state functions, and staff from state functions will coordinate issues of the tent. They'll bring in ZNS to cook. There's something they do always, and then they'll plan with the family the burial program. We understand the unusual circumstances in which Honorable Mutotwe Kafwaya died. He was killed by special forces. Is a member of the opposition, but when is a former cabinet minister, when a president, vice president, former vice president or former cabinet minister dies, minister or former dies, it's a duty of cabinet office, secretary to cabinet and his team at state functions to immediately take over the funeral. This has not happened. So you can imagine the financial burden that the family is meeting. So my appeal is to two people. Secretary to cabinet, Patrick Kangwa, immediately deploy your team, shed off the politics, shed off all these issues, ensure that your team does what it does every time a former cabinet minister or one who's entitled to a state funeral dies. You know the duty that you are supposed to do. These are constitutional entitlements. They are not something the family or all of us should be begging. And to you, senior leaders and others, support the family. Mwako na something. Akabunga, mwako with something, but visit the funeral home. I know there is a panic and sense of fear in Lusaka with this, exactly the allegation of militia is achieving its intended goal, to scare you, to make you stay away, to make you not to be accused. But we have a death in Honorable Mutotwe Kafwaya. The family was given access to the mortal remains of Honorable Kafwaya. They noted something, a very, very swollen head. He was shot in the torso near here, 2 shots. The family is asking for a post-mortem. Again, this is something you colleagues from the party and his friends, because remember, most of the major people like our lawyers, George Sanga, are incarcerated Brian Mundubile, the leader, Makebi Zulu, are not around. It remains to us that are there, you, the women and others, please take this plea very serious and go and help the family. I disclosed yesterday that the chief superintendent at Maina Soko was immediately removed and replaced by somebody else. Let me look at my post that I had announced to the country. Because of these issues, it's something, they wanted to do something that was unorthodox in relation to the body, in the manner they wanted to deny that the body was at Maina Soko. There were attempts to, some things unpleasant, but the professional people at Maina Soko refused to budge, and we understand there have been some dramatic changes. The chief superintendent medical officer has been removed. Just let me read that article I had done.
News in the social media, Mundubile masoja ya muenela. They aimed at his life, Kylie mavoti yevebana mubela. Mavoto alipela Mundubile, but my results need different story. You stole his vote, we are now a military state. Who will speak for the people?
So I'd informed you that following the military raid on the home of leading presidential candidate Brian Mundubile and the killing of former Minister of Transport and Communications, Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya, there was great attempt to hide the facts, the bodies, and the possible plot to dispose of the body in a desecrated, illegal, and unorthodox manner. Pick those words, they're very important: desecrated, illegal, and unorthodox manner. But it appears that the Zambia Army Commander, Lieutenant General Chongoziele, and his minion, and his rogue and controversial Zambia Security Intelligence Services Executive Director, Boyd Kayelu, didn't receive the cooperation in executing these illegal activities around the mortal remains of Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya. Now we understand the authorities have since removed Maina Soko Medical Center Medical Center Commandant Brigadier General Dr. Levi Muchemwa, and they've replaced him with Brigadier General David Mubanga.
Now that Kafwaya Mwapaya, votes are stolen, then what is the purpose of elections? Democracy is dying. Mutotweba, tell me who pulled the trigger. Another 2 man in dying. Democracy is dying. Somebody is a danger zone.
Okay, Cornelia, stop your times.
He came in power on democracy. He now has power through hypocrisy. Constitution is dead in front of foreign cameras. Up a number, bomfia my soldier. You attack the boys at midnight without regard for them.
Sorry, there was just something that I had to attend to immediately. So the authorities have since removed Maina Soko Medical Center Commandant Brigadier General Dr. Levi Muchemwa and replaced him with Brigadier General Dr. David Muwanga, a senior medical and military officer in the Zambia Army. Those have been the developments at Maina Soko Hospital. So I think I've attended to everything regarding, no, I have to speak to the postmortem and burial regarding Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya before we move to the next item. Thank you very much, and thank you for joining us. We are discussing our matters and issues that are occurring in our country, and we are using the opportunity to share with you. And remember, the media in Zambia is literally under gag. We have threats that have been, we understand what Webster Malido at the IBA is doing and how they are threatening institutions like Hot FM, KBN, Millennium. We are aware of everything they are doing, loading over them, and to ensure that, all they did is to provide fair coverage during the election, a duty ZNBC should have done. But ZNBC went rogue, totally rogue, and they became like a UPND infrastructure. So where did you hope the opposition will get coverage from? And so this media becomes very important to provide fair information. For our callers, I think let us avoid the calls until we finish the discussions. Let's go to the next issue, the matters relating the burial of the late Honorable Mtoto Kafwa can only be determined after a postmortem is done, and the postmortem can only be determined after all these issues are resolved between Maina Soko, General Hospital, Secretary to Cabinet and Government, and the family. That's why I'm saying we need manpower at the funeral to begin coordinating all these issues. For you that knew Honorable Mtoto Kafwa, please go and help the brothers and the children and the widow to do these heavy burdens. We'll go to the militia story because President Hakainde Hichilema wants the militia story to stick. He's throwing all sorts of allegations, and several people have been rounded up. Then we'll come to the issue of the petition. After we discuss the issue of the petition, we will discuss some malign activities that are taking place, especially by members of our people. I think those are the key issues that I have. The matters relating to Honorable Mtoto Kafwa, the militia story, and the impact it's having on our nation, on our democracy, the issues around both election petition and inauguration of President Hakainde Hichilema, who's involved. We need to tell you the story from the side of government as they are investigating and as they are piecing together. My headline has still remained for the last 3 days that state fabricates treason charges against Mundubile and Makebi Zulu. That is a story, and nothing has changed except more information has emerged in the fabrication of these stories. So let's go to this story of the militia.
We need to take the approach of dialogue and reconciliation so that we're able to benefit from the outcome of national reconciliation and unity. The fact that somebody ultimately was declared the winner, and that is President Hakainde Hichilema, by a legitimate and a mandatory body, that is ECZ, makes it very complicated for any of us to begin to fight that. In as much as it is desirable to go through the courts, we must know that once you begin to petition, you are not bringing political healing. Once you begin to go through the courts, you are using political confrontation. And when you take that path, and if you don't succeed, you cannot go back to the same parties or to the winner to negotiate for dialogue, reconciliation, or peace.
Now, that's Secretary General of the Tonse Pamosi Alliance, Zumani Zimba. He has flatly refused to be part of the election petition. He has differed with his boss, Brian Mundubile, who has asserted that he has a right to challenge the election results of the president because of the mass irregularities, the presence of soldiers that were present and altering of results, the inflation, the huge inflation of results from Southern Province, where there was such a poor voter turnout, one of the lowest we've seen since 2006. The Brian Mundubile wished to bring this to to the courts to challenge the facts. His own Secretary General here is the first one. And the others that are collaborating, like Celestine Mukandila, you've seen what has happened to, they've bundled him up, arrested him, and they've set the immigration on him. All of a sudden, Celestine, who's been in our country, who's always been in our country, who went to our schools, to our law schools and to Ziale, who's a practicing lawyer, today is a foreigner. And Anne Mwewa Stali, our Constitutional Court judge, who was among the three that President Hakainde Hichilema victimized and fired. Today she's on a third day in the coolers at Richard Kachingwa. And the way they stormed the area like they were picking an armed robbery, ordering her husband not even to move and not even to follow them as they picked her up like she's an armed robber and threw her. We don't even know what happened. I don't know why we are even treating women in the manner that our women are being treated. Remember what happened to Ambassador Martha Lungu? Same. The humiliation. Picking women in the most, it's so bad. It is so bad what's happening to our country. It is so bad. There should be decency in all this. This is a constitutional judge. Her best friends are books. Why lift her and traumatize her with so many soldiers? And then you bundle her and then throw her at some obscure police post. Those are the issues we are dealing with. Everyone around Brian Mundubile has been arrested. Zuman here, the Secretary General, who was at the center of everything. Listen to him once again.
We need to take the approach of dialogue and reconciliation so that we're able to benefit from the outcome of national reconciliation and unity. The fact that somebody ultimately was declared the winner, and that is President Hakainde Hichilema, by a legitimate and a mandatory body, that is ECZ, makes it very complicated for any of us to begin to fight that. In as much as it is desirable to go through the courts, we must know that once you begin to petition, you are not bringing political healing. Once you begin to go through the courts, you are using political confrontation. And when you take that path, and if you don't succeed, you cannot go back to the same parties or to the winner to negotiate for dialogue, reconciliation.
Many of us in this region proud that you still have a judiciary and armed members of the judiciary that are able to do what is right for their people. We must be proud of it. We understand they went through temptations, a lot of temptations, and they withstood these temptations. Money, other things. We hear were thrown out. But they understood why they are on the Constitutional Court. Because the judiciary, the courts must be the place of last recourse where we go to seek justice. Injustices are done every day in our elections. We know it here exactly. 2015, 2016, we know it. But in 2016, our matter was not even heard. Yet the Bill of Rights is clear, and if the citizens are aggrieved about anything, they have the right to go to court. And any court of competent jurisdiction has an obligation to hear. It didn't happen in this country. It does happen in Malawi. We're so proud of that Malawi Constitutional Court bench. And I hope we can all learn something from that ruling. That you cannot continue cheating the people, the very people that gave you an opportunity to save them, especially in those laws. So congratulations to the opposition in Malawi. And one other thing we learned from Malawi is that they came together. The opposition came together. Here we have some oppositions that are surrogates of the ruling party who are used to abuse fellow opposition. But there, Dr. Chakwera Dr. Silas Chidima, you know, and others came together for a joint petition to save the people. It's another lesson that we Zambians. But more important, it's a Malawian citizen, the Malawian voter, who did not allow their vote to be manipulated. When their vote was manipulated, they showed it. They went in the streets to express their displeasure on how somebody had stolen their votes. They did it for months on end. It encouraged the judiciary. So you can see the point here. The battle, the fight must be fought from different angles. And the citizens, many of us in this region,
vaya matuplani vaya makuleta futi kuti vatenge ziko through militias kuzavomera kuti vazipa vantu afu nongena mugoma using militias. I want to thank our security forces who have protected you from the schemes these people were doing. They knew they would lose the election. They pronounced themselves as winners. La Murolikana. You cannot make yourself winner other than the Electoral Commission. Wanda ukachola la muro waya maulira. Ulira chani. Ulira chani. Ijasimba kiamu 2021 na itaira pawino. Ufuna ukala muungenya mkwema kupaya abantu na military weapons tilimbana. Unipesa pado to protect my youth wanga. You know, these boys are so down. They thought they were very clever. They were talking, making noise. Me, I was just quiet at them. You know, these boys are so down. They thought they were very clever. They were talking, making noise. Me, I was just quiet at them. You know, these boys are.
Thank you very much. Let's go to the the militia story in full. Yesterday there was a development. The 11 that were found at Brand Mundubile's home have all been charged with treason offenses. I'm going to play the video which showed their home. It's been over 7 days before the authorities even went back yesterday. Why did it take them 7 days? And they want to allege this issue of the militia story, but we'll delve into the details. They charged the 11 with treason. I want to name them. Let me just get the names quickly. The colleagues that were charged with treason. We have to repeat the facts for purposes. We repeat the facts for emphasis because of the barrage of attacks. Remember, ZMBC has been overtaken by, if you want to be on the news, congratulate the president that he has won elections. You'll be on ZMBC. They want to flood the country with messages. Anyone who will congratulate the president, that will be the news. Why? They don't want the fact that these elections are disputed, that Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu are trying to file the petition in the Constitutional Court, which is being prevented. They don't want the facts to emerge that this election was stolen. They don't want the facts to emerge that, you had the military participate in the election, not to provide security, but as participants even to alter results, confiscate Gen 20. They don't want that story to emerge. It's harming their credibility. So you'll be inundated with information that is useless, that doesn't build our country, that wants to bury the truth. Like I've always stated here, the only crime Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu did was to participate in this election and to receive the wide support that they received from you. That is their only crime that they did. They were coming from the African Union Observer Mission meeting because the observers have been meeting various stakeholders. They had struggled to meet Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu because they were in the field. By the time they were in the country, they were in Northern. I remember they had started the marathon when we started receiving the first request for the observers, whether it was EU, SADC, and others to meet them. They were in Lundazi. And, for 3 weeks they were away. So just a day before elections, or 14th, just after the election, that's the time that now Brian Mundubile had an opportunity to meet the African Union Commission. The observer mission was led by former Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Haile Mariam Desalegn Boshe. When they came from the entourage, when they came from meeting the African Union, just when they arrived, Brian Mundubile was with Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya, was with UNIP President Bishop Trevor Mwamba, was with his Presidential Affairs Officer George Kangwa, and the person who's been managing their logistics, Patrick Mwansa. Patrick Mwansa, the spouse to Honorable Tarsila Lungu. And the others were Richard Banda, his security men, the 3 ex-servicemen. Remember the ones that are saying they were commandos on the premises? No. The 3 ex-servicemen, Jackson Mutioka, Brazil Soko, and Bernard Chewe, had come 3 weeks into the election to help with security on Brian Mundubile, because now there were so many threats on Brian Mundubile's life. You remember, even went to church and said, every time we are on top of that vehicle, it's a prayer for us, because we don't know if we'll be taken away. So while we are waving to our people, we are muttering prayers, and prayers we are speaking in tongues. That's what Brian told them. So there was so much security threat around them. These 3 ex-servicemen who are saying they are commandos that were found at the residence have previously worked for FARS and for the presidential lawyer, Keith Mwemba. Keith Mwemba, if you look at the pictures, he has been with these servicemen. They left the service, and we understand one of them was heavily victimized by the current head of the commando, just because he was well-known, well decorated in the country, and received so much praise. But that's a story for another day. So you have 4. They are coming from the African Union. Bishop Trevor Mwamba, George Kangwa, Patrick Mwansa, the 3 ex-servicemen, Jackson Mutioka, Brazil Soko, and Bernard Chewe. And then you had Simon Piri, Richard Banda, the ADC, Francis Mlenga, Emmanuel Mlenga, and Darius Mwila. As soon as they were settling at home on Kudu Road, 212 Kudu Road, as soon as they arrived home, and Mrs. Mundubile was trying to prepare them something to drink or eat, and they were just settling in the living room, a BDRIM vehicle. I don't know if you know what a BDRIM vehicle. Do you know what a BDRIM vehicle? Type in the comments. That camouflage military vehicle stormed in, brought down the gate, and over 40 or so military men, the commandos, stormed in. Everything happened in a flash. What Richard Banda did was to rush to where Brian Mundubile and the entourage were in the living room and usher them upstairs. We've repeated those facts. And, the shooting of Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya and maybe another person. We understand Richard Banda is okay. There was a rumor that he had died, but he's okay. So the 11 yesterday, because Bishop Mwamba Trevor Mwamba was detained in Matero, in Central Police, Patrick Mwansa and the 3 ex-servicemen. And then the rest were taken to Treason.Police, where there was Honorable Chisanga. And so they were charged with treason. And the other day we had announced that they are going to charge Brian Mundubile and Makebi these treason charges, and they are going to thrown to prison for a long time, because before you can make an appearance, I saw some stakeholders saying, no, Brian Mundubile and Makebi should just surrender and go to court. They'll prove their innocence. It's easier said than done. There will be a story of the appearance in High Court that sometimes takes up to 2 years. There could be prominent figures. They may be lucky if they appear in court in the next 6 months. The only appearance they will appear is in the magistrate court to be committed to the High Court, and the matter will be buried. There are people that you find in prison, that I found in prison, hadn't been to court for 5 years. The case of Mundubile, we told you, it took a concerted lobby for her to begin to appear in court. So people that are saying it's easy, let them just surrender and they'll appear in court, they'll clear their case. Do you know the conditions of our prison? Especially when you are innocent of the charges that they are alleging on you. The United Nations Human Rights Chief, Volker Turk, urged President Hakainde Hichilema to stop these arbitrary arrests, to stop these detentions and disappearance of people. What is government's, this militia story? Let's tell you how they've crafted it. So they are alleging, let's start with the guns. They are alleging that at the premises, they found guns and high-grade military weapons, including some grenades. That's what they're alleging. Were the guns found and high-grade military guns found at these premises? No. In fact, the sack of guns came with the commandos. Because among the 11 witnesses, they've whispered that while they were being beaten, they were being dragged and they were being taken into the cars, and there was all these things happening. There was a white Range Rover that was behind these three convoys, a white Range Rover, where this sack of guns came. And the 3-4 guys quickly came. I'm told they put near the door this sack and weapons, and they started taking a picture or a video. Wow, there was this. They called an ambulance from Maina Soko to come and pick the injured, but they didn't pick Mutotwe Kafwaya. No. We don't know who they picked in that ambulance because they didn't pick Mutotwe Kafwaya, who was bleeding profusely. And so we can challenge them with those facts. The guns came from themselves. There were no guns on the premises. There was no exchange of fire. If there was exchange of fire, the 3 ex-servicemen and the ordinary people that were outside would have been dead. They would have been shot. Mundubile and the entourage that came from the AU, the executives, were in the living room trying to have tea. There was no exchange of fire. They're trying to manufacture that there was an exchange of fire. They're even alleging that Honorable Mutotwe Kafwaya fired some shots. Total lies. The first time this happened on Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, we held the broadcast that they had to call people from the forensic department of the Zambia police, and they attempted to begin to manufacture these lies when they were trying to dispose of the body, so that they claim that they didn't know he was there, or that they didn't even pick him at all, that he's among those that ran away. Remember the first statement by the Secretary to Cabinet. He said some people ran away. So they wanted to fabricate that Honorable Mutotwe Kafwaya was among those that ran away, and then remain unaccounted for. That is why there have been these changes at Maina Soko, where they think that the team at Maina Soko didn't cooperate with their illegal activities. So that's number one. They want to allege that there were guns there. And they want to allege that there was an Auzi, that Israel-American gun. That's a very high sophisticated gun. Those guns didn't come from anyone. They want to allege that these guns were cleared from Nakonde border. That's why they've detained Lucas Mumba, the MP that won, and they're looking for Honorable Francis Kapianga and Honorable Stephen Kampiongo. They are being mentioned from what we understand. Then remember the 3 ex-servicemen, the ones that Shapwaya, the head of commando unit victimized and fired. Amashina bakwata first, number 2, one of them is a decorated commando. He frustrated them out. They tried to survive and they tried to offer VVIP protection. I don't know any leader, including President Hakainde, who doesn't use ex-servicemen, either ex-policemen or ex-soldiers, to protect them in this campaign. Just look at all their bodyguards. They all have some kind of these bodyguards. But these 3 ex-servicemen, they are alleging, is that they were running a private firm. That's why they were providing security services to FAS. They were providing security to Keith Mwemba. They have to survive. The only thing they know in their lives, they've been at as Zambia Army for over 20 years. What else do they know? That's a civilian thing to do. They want to categorize them that they were training militias under Brian Mundubile. The other matter is a planted matter. The issue of the 4 young people that were sent to Russia for training. They want to anchor the story there, especially for the diplomatic and American and other Western society, that we are under attack from Russia. Russia was trying to train militias for this opposition leader. Therefore, let's not give him power. That's a story they want to manufacture and plant. And this story, this issue of training to Russia actually came from the state. The state are the one that organized for this day. And Zumania and they made Vowden Findlay buy tickets. And now they're alleging that Vowden was financing terrorism. That's how Vowden comes in. And Vowden had list the tracks for PA system at the campaign rally. They are saying he was financing terrorism. So here is what they've done. The activities of Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu have been categorized. The political activities that they were doing as an opposition party have been categorized as terrorism activities. That they were planning to overthrow government, that they were planning unconstitutional change of government. They sent people to Russia for training for that purpose. They brought in military high-grade weapon, and they are alleging then they had financiers. So whoever contributed to the movement, they are categorizing them as those that financed terrorism activities. You see how they've criminalized the entire infrastructure. Why are they going to this great lengths? Because Brian Mundubile won the elections. That's all. Brian Mundubile is supposed to be your next president. They have stolen that election from him. So they want to bury that fact with these things. I feel pity. There are so many people that funded President Hakainde Hichilema in opposition for many years. Not that Rupia Banda didn't know, not that Mwanawasa didn't know, not that Michael Sata didn't know, not that Rupia Banda, Edgar Lungu didn't know. They knew who was financing the UPND, external and internal. They never victimized them. In fact, President Hakainde Hichilema's own companies kept on having business with government. Both Michael Sata and Edgar Lungu never stopped entities like Africa Life Insurance from having government business. They never. They were too civil. This man now is saying whoever financed Mundubile, whoever contributed fuel, whoever contributed anything, they were financing terrorism. And they are using a set of Indians to fight another set of Indians. You can see who were names as funding Brian Mundubile. So it's a set of Indians fighting each other, using us. And they want to use the state infrastructure to fight other Indians that they don't get along with, and allege that they're the ones that were. For the state and President Hakainde Hichilema, they are going to accuse these Indians that, and some Zambians like Vowden Findlay, that they supported terrorism. There's even, that's why I named out and I pointed out Webster Malido is a dear good friend of mine for many years. But the things they are using him for, because they want to deregister KBN, Hot FM and Millennium TV, to allege that they supported terrorism activities. So media coverage has become terrorism coverage because you covered or played the song of Brian Mundubile. All this is to send a serious panic and fear, both in the business community, in the media, and in other sectors. And no one is spared. That's why they can lift a poor woman whose job has just been to save our country as constitutional judge, treat her like a criminal, and throw her away at Richard Kachingwe. They are sending a message that no one is sacred, that no one is sacred in their pursuit to hide the story that a Zambia Army commander has helped President Hichilema steal this election. And ECZ and Mangala Zelomis have participated in this fraudulent crime. That is why they don't want an election petition. They don't want an election petition. In fact, I can disclose to you that plans for the inauguration are very, very advanced. They want to hold inauguration at Parliament grounds because Lusaka is still very hostile. They want some dignitaries to come, but they were planning that if there is no petition by Monday, as early as possible, the president must be sworn in. The country and the constitution gives up to 2 weeks in case there is a petition. And here is their second plan. And let's come to the petition and the status of the petition. Let me give you now the details. I think I've covered everything, how they want to victimize everyone in this issue of militia and how they want a story to stick. And you should remember that President Hakainde Hichilema, he's got Tony Blair on his side, so they are tackling Western media. So you see favorable coverage in Bloomberg, in Reuters, that's Tony Blair's infrastructure working. Locally, of course, he has clamped down on the media. ZNBC, then they've got in their pockets news diggers, Kalimba and others who are now parroting these stories. And then there are other independent and radio stations. They cannot risk. And I've just disclosed to you that Webster Malido, they're actively working on this issue of deregistering or removing the license for KBN, Hot FM, Millennium TV, and they're accusing them of having supported terrorism activities.
So down. They thought they were very clever. They were talking, making noise. Me, I was just quiet. You know, these boys are so down. They thought they were very clever. They were talking, making noise. Me, I was just quiet.
I'm the chief shushu. I know what is happening. My friend, you can't send people to a foreign country to go and learn military skills to come and disrupt elections in this country. And they expect not to be arrested for that. You will be arrested. You commit crimes, you're on your own. Why would you send people to go and train somewhere to come and plan to kill? An opposition leader says he's prepared to kill, to be killed. Nobody wants to kill him. Now he's prepared to kill. Since there's nobody who wants to kill him, so he's willing to kill. Who is he going to kill? Fellow citizens. For what? This competition to serve. My colleagues were in government 10 years. They did not introduce free education. Now they're saying they'll bring it. Why didn't they bring it when they were in government 10 years? They are promising, no, CDF. Why didn't they bring CDF from 1.6 million, which is only enough to build a 1x3 classroom block, to 40 million? Why didn't they do it? Why? If you as a citizen are supporting them, I'm just pointing you here because we're in an interview. You must reflect. What benefit did you get 10 years? A few people were sleeping with cash as mattresses and pillows. A few people. Where was that money coming from? From the loans, the Euro bonds.
which they failed to pay. And the price was $2.3 billion of debt service. And that's the money they were accessing through fake contracts, supplying air, roads that they never did. They got 50% down payment and never did the roads.
We need to take the approach of dialogue and reconciliation so that we're able to benefit from the outcome of national reconciliation and unity. The fact that somebody ultimately was declared the winner, and that is President Hakainde Hichilema, by a legitimate and a mandatory body, that is ECZ, makes it very complicated for any of us to begin to fight that. In as much as it is desirable to go through the courts, we must know that once you begin to petition, you are not bringing political healing. Once you begin to go through the courts, you are using political confrontation. And when you take that path, and if you don't succeed, you cannot go back to the same parties or to the winner.
Thank you very much. Continue to share the broadcast. If you're on YouTube, you're watching us from YouTube, quickly just subscribe. It helps us reach a better audience. Brian Mundubile update. Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu remain holed up at the United Nations. Since they're under the shelter of the United Nations, they do not have access to their phones. They may not communicate to you. They may not answer your phones. These are dangerous circumstances. Why is Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu at the United Nations to seek shelter? If Brian had said, let me stay home and bring my own security, they were going to allege, they were going to allege that the militia is keeping him. He's still a man under mark. This is a man that has won election and the election has been stolen away from him. Makebi Zulu is his running mate. So they feared for their lives and they feared very dangerously. There were many reports of security fear against him, but the ultimate was a military invasion at his home, and they didn't care whether he had his wife, his spouse, with the 3 children that were present. They didn't care. So you can imagine his mindset. So they drove that day to the United Nations, and the United Nations have accommodated them for now, sheltered them will be the word. The UN resident coordinator, Beatrice Mutiti, she's been under so much pressure, but her term has come to an end. She went to attempt to bid her farewells with the president that had given her an appointment, and she was not seen. She was sent to the vice president. They've been under immense pressure. She has since left. There's a deputy to her who's now superintending over these affairs. And since there is no substantive head of mission at the United Nations, this matter has been escalated to New York. From my understanding, is that there were still sinister plans because Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation wrote a request to the United Nations country office in Zambia, demanding that Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu be released as they were facing criminal charges. So the UN said we can only release them if they are willing to leave the station themselves because they are seeking shelter. You know the case of Julian Assange, who hid in London under, Ecuadorian embassy for up to almost 10 years. So under the Vienna Convention, we respect that. I experienced the same issue when they were looking for one of our staff in Ethiopia, because she comes from Tigray, and they were looking for her. And the first day she came, she didn't know they were following Ethiopian militia. Ethiopian authorities, soldiers were looking for her. So she had just driven into the embassy, and they just stood outside. They couldn't come in. Our humble embassy. And I came to understand what was happening. Foreign Affairs asked, we said, she's our worker here. But the point is they couldn't come in the embassy. And I remember that she wrote even a note 4 or 5 years later when she finally came to the US and congratulated me for standing with her. So there's nothing the government can do. They had sinister plans. They refused. They put so much pressure. And the plot was evil. The plot was evil. If that day Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu had walked out of the UN, they were going to be picked and then set free. We don't know what could have happened to them. They could have been shot and they could have been accused of trying to run away. So it's good that they stayed put, but we don't know for how long, because this matter is here at the UN. I was trying to make some phone calls here at the United Nations, and they're all busy because, you know, we are going to have a new Secretary General. As soon as the presidents begin to arrive in the next 2 weeks, there will be a new election for a new Secretary General. So there are a lot of hive of activities around the campaign, including the office of the Secretary General. But that matter has been brought here. If we obtain any further information, we'll let you know. Now, the second matter is that they don't want Brian Mundubile in roaming freely. They don't want Makebi Zulu roaming freely because they may file a petition, they may sign affidavits, they may present a credible petition to the Constitutional Court of our country. President Hakainde Hichilema doesn't want that. That is why I was telling you that he has flooded ZMBC with all congratulations. If you want to be famous, just congratulate the president for winning the elections and tell him that he should rule the next 5 years properly. Find words, you'll be on ZMBC. You probably will be #1 lead story. They want to defeat the true narrative, the story that the mission observer missions observed. They want to bury the story which our monitors and party agents saw. They want to bury the story that the Zambia army have installed President Hakainde Hichilema as our new president. So they want to flood with legitimacy. I don't know how many members of UPND sent that congratulation from the US Embassy in Zambia. Wamona. Na ba US na bamuchita congratulate. Wachikata Hichilema ali wina. Tuwaba tukavantwaini. If we are Christians and we are diplomats. But even when I looked at the congratulatory note, I looked at the words that were said by the ambassador in 2006 to Levi Mwanawasa, 2008 to Rupia Banda, 2011 to Michael Sata, 2015 to Edgar Lungu, 2016 to Edgar Lungu, 2021 to Hakainde Hichilema. See that congratulation from the US ambassador and the latest one. Then you come back and tell me, in diplomacy, what we say and what we don't say is a lot of expression. If I say something, it means a lot. If I don't say something, it even means more than what I have said. So you compare the congratulatory notes that were given to Zambian presidents that have won elections and look at this current one. Or just compare the one in 2021 to President Hakainde Hichilema and the current one. Then you tell me if that's a proper congratulations. So primal mission by President Hakainde Hichilema is that there should be no petition. Inauguration should go on. He wants to establish himself quickly. That is why treacherous elements like Zumanzima can speak in the manner that they are speaking. Of course, then you can wonder, if Zuman was Secretary General, why haven't they arrested him? Why would they arrest an alliance member like Bishop Trevor Mwamba? Why would they arrest Abantu Awakaelewa Bishop? Abantu Akwalesa, you know, I love this man. I love Bishop. He's such an innocent man. Such an innocent man. And all he has done for our country is distinguished service. He was our luminary and ambassador, serving in Botswana for many years. His wife from a decent family, the first president of Botswana. He served in England. And, he's respected worldwide. His crime is that he accompanied Brian Mundubile that day. And he was waiting to have tea with Brian Mundubile that day. Today, there are treason charges on his head. Is that truly fair? Is that truly fair? George Chisanga, umwina Lukasha, Impalume, umwina Kasama. Distinguished record. He was one of our lawyers that was serving for PT and was based in Nairobi for many years. He was our last president. And, you know, in the last 5 years, there were many attempts to shut George. He stood firm. He didn't go for opportunities. He didn't act like Robert Chavinga or Sande Chanda or Mao Sampa. He didn't. He stood resolute. And he stood resolute with Brian Mundubile in this scheme. And they structured a proper campaign. Today he's sitting with a treason charge because he took his president to meet the African Union Commission, you know, observer mission, and came back to leave the president to rest and then probably now go and he himself rest. It was not to be, you know. And today he's standing with treason charges. Our dear brother, Mutotwe Kafwaya, again, all he did, you know, as a chairperson for finance, all he did was to accompany Brian Mundubile to that AU meeting. That was his crime, nothing else. And he was shot dead, killed by our own members of our own army. And you want to tell me that Mutotwe Kafwaya is a leader, is a co-leader of a militia gang? Is that how far we have fallen, you know? Patrick Mwansa, his only crime is that he came to help Brian's campaign. He joined the campaign and was helping with administration and you know, campaign management. That's his crime. A civic leader, a young businessman, you know, just because he's married to Honorable Tasila Lungu. And Tasila Lungu's father is President Edgar Lungu. Edgar Lungu's a and a beef that no one understands. Even in his death, he lies punished by President Hakainde Hichilema. Even in his death, that's the only crime that this young man did. Now today he should be charged with treason charges. He should be beaten in the manner he was beaten. I don't understand why they tortured Patrick Mwansa. I don't know why they tortured him. I don't understand. You know, up to now I'm failing to my head to come round why he was tortured in the manner that he was tortured. A lot of you were calling me, is he dead, is he dead? I told you, here on this platform, we deal with verified information. I refused to confirm things I didn't know, just in the excitement of social media. I refused. I said until I speak to someone. And we had to get a lawyer. The lawyer had to see him. Then we confirmed that he hadn't passed on, he was all right. Of course, he has some injuries from the torture that he received, but he's okay. You know, but he now stands with this torture. They are harassing our lawyers. They are harassing. They don't want the petition to go ahead. Wakateka, you are calling for peace. People like Zumana are saying we should put this election behind. You are saying let us just all calm down and allow the president to rule. But is this, if you want to rule, is this what you do? You charge your friends who actually won an election with treason. You lump false charges and fake charges on them. You actually engineered this trip to Russia and made the leaders fall into a trap because you are the treacherous fella at the heart of it who organized this. And if Brian and Makebi Zulu had consulted me on this, I would have told them that's a red flag. Don't send anyone to Russia. I would have told them so. But you know, like they say, treachery is so painful because the people that are treacherous to you are the ones that are next to you, the one you trust most. The story of sending these 4 young men to Russia is a state plot. It was planted in there. Vowden Finlay's charity, goodness, bought tickets. Now he lies being accused of funding terrorism. This was a plot from them for the day like this. Remember what I've told you? President Hakainde Hichilema has image builders from London. He has Tony Blair on his side. He has Dr. Greg Mills on the other from the just defunct Brentes Foundation. They knew this day would come. To lump that Brian is being sponsored by Russia or immediately creates Brian's activities, what we call malign activities. And malign activities are inimical activities to the state and to the US who support us up to $500, $600 million a year. Immediately you come under the red radar. So this was planted on them for this story. If anyone had asked that we have this opportunity, I would have told them, why are you sending people for training 4 weeks before we end the election? Why? Why are you sending them for such a short course? And why to Russia? You don't involve these superpowers because they lay claim to our country. They want our minerals. Zambia is endowed with these rare minerals. And there's fierce competition who should have access to them. So you don't make those rookie mistakes like in introducing Russia in the process. You lay yourself bare. Because I would have asked you, you have a socialist president who's well connected to China and Russia, Fred Membe. Why didn't he send his people to Russia? Because he's aware that he cannot do that in this environment. He cannot even send. He would rather use ex-policemen or ex-soldiers from Zambia. It was totally naive. I don't blame our leaders because they walked into a trap set by the state. And you sent those 4 young men, and the 4 young men are now your biggest evidence that you were training militias and you are taking people for training to Russia. A plot that has come from the state. It was totally naive. And like I'm saying, if Russia wanted to train anyone, Fred Membe is a good candidate. But why is Fred Membe not involved? Because he knows the geopolitics. Former Minister of Foreign Affairs, Harry Kalaba, is well connected to all capitals in New York, in Beijing, in Moscow. He's well connected. Why wouldn't he send anyone for training there? He knows the geopolitics. This story was planted on us. The naivety of the secretariat and the trust by our leaders, they didn't see that it's a trap. Today it's haunting us. It's haunting us because they are using it as evidence. And those boys who've been caught, to these fabricated charges. So here is the second step they have. In the unlikely event, because with all the harassment they are doing, in the unlikely event that we file in our petition, lawyers be aware that they've planned for a preliminary application to dismiss the case. They are going to use Ezra Tembo and NRPUP. Ezra Tembo is going to come to court and is going to say, we removed Brian Mundubile, we sponsored him as a presidential candidate. Therefore, we are working with President Hakainde Hichilema. We wish not to proceed with any petition. We have withdrawn our candidate, so he has no locus stand. So lawyers begin to research around. They are going to bring Ezra, and they'll bring that Dr. Patrick Peary for Resolute Party is also going to say the same things, that we've removed Makebi Zulu and we don't want to be part of this. We have congratulated the president, so that they leave the 2 candidates bare, so that now the issue of locus stand comes in before we even discuss the evidence against President Hakainde's re-election. In the likely event that we manage to bring that petition into court, there will be that first preliminary application by the state. And there are star witnesses there, are boys who have benefited from the hard work. I feel very bad. The manner in which Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu worked, when they left home 2 months ago, they only came back on election date, 2 days before election, to Lusaka. They worked so hard. Even in the midst that the election has been stolen Brian Mundubile and Makebi managed to have 60 seats, 65, 5 for Resolute Party and 6-0 for Brian Mundubile, 65 seats. Now they are being taken away. There's an attempt. Ezra Tembo now is saying, I'm the president. We are the largest opposition. Nana mwishwa Ezra Tembo. Nana mwene kofenangu campaign. Na kuda kuina wini ne kudagama short. Tela mpi. Ili kwa Mundubile eli rengerate awine kulia. You know, and today he's saying he's the largest opposition party and we are going to support President Hakainde Hichilema. So lawyers who are handling this matter, be worried. In the event that you finally file an application, they want it dismissed out as soon as possible using that preliminary. Let me show you this Ezra Tembo, who's saying he has 60 MPs. Umunovi achibombela, alala mumpanga asumwa. Today his best friend Mtoto Kafoyala is dead. Now who I sat yo, I have 60 MPs. The extent of treachery in our country for me, I don't understand.
This is no small achievement. We also congratulate President Hakainde Hichilema and the UPND on their victory. We congratulate the over 60 NRPUP MPs, council chairpersons, mayors, and councillors across the country. The way forward. The election is over. It is time for Zambia to focus on development. We call on all Zambians to give President Hichilema and the UPND space to work, and as we offer checks and balances, we let norms prevail and let's engage in Parliament and other establishment democratic platform. As the official opposition, NRPUP will provide checks and balances to ensure accountability and good governance. In conclusion, we urge all our members nationwide to desist from any form of political violence. Democracy is about respecting the will of the people, and sometimes it is not perfect, but this is the standard we have chosen to be governed by. This was not our time. We accept the outcome and remain committed to serving Zambians. This press statement has been released in consultation with the leadership of Tonse Alliance. Thank you. God bless you. God bless Zambia. We need to take the approach of dialogue and reconciliation so that we're able to benefit from the outcome of national reconciliation and unity. The fact that somebody ultimately was declared the winner, and that is President Hakainde Hichilema, by a legitimate and a mandatory body, that is ECZ, makes it very complicated for any of us to begin to fight that. In as much as it is desirable to go through the courts, we must know that once you begin to petition, you are not bringing political healing. Once you begin to go through the courts, you are using political confrontation. And when you take that path, and if you don't succeed, you cannot go back to the same parties or to the winner to negotiate for dialogue, reconciliation, or peace.
Traders across Ndola district have rejected the presidential election results announced by the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, which declared United Party for National Development UPND candidate Hakainde Hichilema the winner of this year's presidential election. Mr. Hichilema, who scooped the polls against 13 other contenders, defeated his closest rival Brian Mundubile of the NRPUP. The traders have alleged that the presidential election was neither free, fair, nor transparent. Speaking to Sun FM TV News, the traders expressed dissatisfaction with the outcome, arguing that they are still awaiting the announcement of what they described as the rightful winner of the presidential election.
Pantu ifwe muno mundo langa kopa belt tuarefu a Mundubile no mama vote ofo ya reisa nefo ya ringiro kuba tefio tefo tuavote refio ko bapende ama vote so ya ama vote kupenda bafire ba nani kane aba ba ICZ bakamweke shepo ya nama vote bakapende bwino ubuteko botoreptamu talshotekeremo ubuteko debuteko tuarefu aya ubuteko tuarefu aya bwapera mpi
this time mine. I'm a watch the Twaria Kana, Zata Kana.
Stick at that few muchalo. Nish Chave Refi. If we're to our plan Mundubile, ever pity, ever cateka to Lerolera, that to Sefeshen of Sefia. Ever to have voted, ever to have voted, I'm a vote yes, you are quiz.
Our people are asking, they voted, they protected the vote, they witnessed the count, and many of them even obtained the G20 that show that Brian Mundubile won that election in many parts of our country. And all they're asking is that, where is our vote? Now, let's look at this. Our people are being beaten in townships. Just now I have received so many calls that they supported the opposition. Mtoto Kafoya lies dead. Our colleagues lie, with treason charges. And you have Zumani putting it like a petition is such an illegal thing. It's bringing instability. This is a judicial constitutional process that President Hakainde Hichilema himself embraced and participated in. He knew it was part of the healing process. Bottling up issues is not part of the healing process. Here is what President Hakainde Hichilema would frequently say about the petition. Where is the president? Let me just get him what he said about the petition. Thank you very much. I think we've tackled the issues of the day. We started with the matters regarding the widow. Mwantu wakwalesa muyabatandadila likentwafwe chirilo cheswich. And I made a request to Cabinet Office. This is a former Cabinet Minister. There are constitutional and government obligations to a funeral such as this. There are changes that have occurred at Minor Soko, where the chief medical superintendent has been removed and they've placed another. The family, of course, is expected to do a post-mortem and plan for the burial service. The militia story, they want to plant guns. They want to plant guns and other things on Mundubile, and we demonstrated. And they've got persons of interest, Stephen Kampyongo, Lucas Mumba and Francis Kapianga and Binwa Mpundu. Binwa Mpundu, for his remarks, if you remember the remarks that he apologized for, but they want him. Then there's been a threat on the media. What did the media do? Why do you want Webster Malido? Why do you want to punish KBN? Why do you want to punish Hot FM? Why do you want to punish Millennium TV? And you want to say they were involved in supporting malign activities. And then you want to go for businessmen because the Indian community fight against one another. And they have a habit of using the presidency and the state. I remember the funny story when for the first time the Chinese came into Lusaka and, they were opening up shops around Kamwala. And they were being deported. When an investigation took place, it appeared that, those that were losing business, our Indian brothers on this side, were financing the deportation of those Chinese. So our foreign nationals should live at peace. You supported President Hakainde Hichilema. Some could have supported the opposition. Where is the problem? Why do you want to criminalize only one set of support? What about the support that you gave to President Hakainde Hichilema? Why is it not criminal? Why do you want to use a state to to allege that they were financing terrorism and you want them picked up. No. The inauguration is underway. They are preparing. They hope that the petition doesn't go through so they can go in overdrive. But they've given themselves latitude in this matter of the inauguration because the election is stolen, the election disputed, and the major media organization in the world have reported that the election is disputed. Probably President Hakainde Hichilema would like to have an elaborate, with well-invited guests to his inauguration to show legitimacy that he won the election. The petition is still under peril. They've up to Monday to file their petition. I've just told you their plans is that they want to use Ezra Tembo as a star witness and Dr. Martin Piri as a star witness from Resolute Party. The two are going to raise the issue of locust stand, that they remove Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu. They sponsored them into those positions. But you and I know that NRPUP is just a special purpose vehicle for many political parties under Tonse. Resolute Party is just a special purpose vehicle for many political parties under Pamosi Alliance. And together they chose to support the presidential candidate of Brian Mundubile under NRPUP. But this is just an alert to the lawyers that in the event that our petition is finally filed, they want to raise the issue of locust stand. That's why it becomes imperative that other people, Lars and others, should file the petition, because the law allows citizens to file the petition to say, ama election nimberenga mission observer report yaba EU, yaba church grouping, yaba SADC, yaba African Union. I think ama elections are and free and fair. You can petition as a citizen. You don't have to rely on Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu. Stakeholders like Lars, Transparency International, can petition. Here, Lars has just had a successful petition when President Hakainde Hichilema appointed an illegal person as Auditor General. The law is very clear. Auditor General has to be 45 years and below 60. They want that maturity for one key reason. To attend to the theft and plunder of national resources by civil service, public service, and the politician that loot the treasury. Remember, we allocate up to $3.5 billion every year for expending, and that money is usually looted. So you need an Auditor General who's quite mature. That's why they cap it at 45. I mean, the base is 45. Floor edge is 45. The ceiling is 66.0. And you have Dr. Ronnie Mwambwa, who is now, I think, 66 years of age. He's not eligible constitutionally. It's not that we don't like the man. He's a good man, but he's not eligible according to the Constitution. Lars has just won that case. Lars can petition this case. So stop targeting the media. President Hakainde Hichilema has repeatedly said he will not close any media. Someone has written that Ambassador speak about the propaganda that was unleashed on Prime TV. There's a video they've written with a fake narrative. They're using AI to demonstrate that they found military and high-grade weapons at Brian Mundubile, and it's an alarming video. I saw it earlier. Is it on Kafue Times or something? They had used it earlier on some small, obscure online media, but yesterday Prime TV aired the dirty propaganda. Kubaleka, now I trust the people of Zambia. If you say Mwamba is a propagandist, then why are people watching me? So if you bring out things that people can see, they can see through it, Yeah. And so I think let's open the phone lines. It's Sabbath. For those going to church, they can go to church. For you that wish to do, you want to do something, you want to work in the garden Saturday, please make the call so that we can quickly let you go and close. Let's hear what your views are. Let me switch on the phones.
In this region, proud that you still have a judiciary, an armed understand they went through temptations, a lot of temptations, and they withstood these temptations. Many other things we hear were thrown at them, but they understood why they're on the Constitutional Court. Because judiciary, the courts must be the place of last recourse, where we go to seek justice. Injustices are done every day in our elections. We know it here in Zambia. 2015, 2016, we know it. But in 2016, our matter was not even heard. Yet the Bill of Rights is clear that if a citizen is aggrieved about anything, they have a right to go to court. And
The lines are open. Caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Anonymous Ambassador, my worry is the statements coming from Mr. Ezra Tembo and Mr. Zuman Zimba. Well, Ezra Tembo, I think for me is not a problem, but who is a problem in this issue is Zuman Zimba. This man was very strategically, I think, placed in all these things, to come and cause confusion at the end of the day. And I remember during when America raided this country from where Saddam was, Iraq, there was that man called Kem Ari, who was a commentator of what was happening in the war. And I think he was the only one who was not arrested by the American invaders in Iraq. So same applies to this man. All NRPOP people have been arrested, including justice sympathizers and musicians. They have been arrested, as only Zuman Zimba has not been arrested by the government. So you see that the man was more or less like a stooge or someone that was placed just to, do everything that needed to be done. It's very sad. It's very sad. What kind of behavior is that? It's very sad. We feel very bad. We feel bad for everyone. We feel bad for all those people that are incarcerated. It's very bad, sir. I'm very heartbroken. I end there.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution. Ndita Mwashbuken.
I would like to remain anonymous too. I'm calling from Zambia.
Thank you.
Eshakwambira poferesa mkulu amitangirire bamwamba tamwishi bemyaosho mufuswishe. I know abanensu n'abafukubukali ama BP and those who are strong, they are still here with you. Bamwamba tulepepera kuna ba president besu ba brand Mundubile na Makepi konso kuntu bana fintu balepita mulesa abatangirire. Echo ndechitapiyo kuma Zambians banandu kwebati mweba nandu bantu bakwalesa ululu buli tero abena Brian na Makepi nifo balefu Makepi na ba Brian. Why can't we also behave like the way Malawans did? Because according even to the speech that Mr. Ichilema was saying, he was saying it's the people who stood up, not the president. So therefore, we can do the same. If it means going more straight to Kafule, to show him that we don't want him anymore, we can still do that. Let's fight for our friends, our Gatama musicians, just to support Brian Mundubile became a crime. Zambians, I'm on my knees. Where are we? If we don't speak up now, the earlier we do it, the better. Let him finish us, because that's his intention. But it's the Almighty God that we pray to. Let's take it up. It's enough is enough. We are humans. The pain that we are carrying is so much. How many people have been killed? Were they not just like us? If he kills us, Nishna people. Kulafu abantu kwashala abantu. Let's rise up, Zambians. Enough is enough. It's too much. For how long are we going to pretend? For how long are we going to keep quiet over our country? We have only one Zambia. And yet this is our country. It's too much. Who is he? Who is he? What's so special about him? Even the soldiers are it's okay. Thank you, Mwamba.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution. Endita.
Nombanga ifwe Zambia ninshi tureti no kwebati kuchita protest nicho nabati mwenso nabati aba amasoldiers munshira yonse monse muntu wapita mulesango amasoldiers but in democratic right abantu kuchita protest nombe chonsangirika kwebati fwe bantu na ifo mwenso nati kwacho mwenso bukuwe badabalwire abuntungwa abalwire obuntungwa muri bakaunda tabakwesho mwenso namona no kumono kwebati chintu na firubana protest.
Okay. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
I'm calling from Rundazi. This is Jawaniso.
Yes, my dear brother. Make your contribution.
Mr. Ambassador, it's very sad. We have lost a lot of people's lives, and we are so sad that a lot of number of people are still in cells. So I wanted just to ask to say, if there is any solution that can help us. I've seen the desperation of this government. They have rushed to inauguration without any procedure. So I was thinking, if there is any solution that can be done urgently, please help us, because we are on fire.
Thank you. The inauguration will not take place until the court process has been exhausted. That's why they are trying to prevent the court process from taking place.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, Mr. Ambassador, but I also have something private to talk to you. When you go, you are not online, maybe live, then you contact me. There's something very important that I have to talk to you.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello?
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Ambassador?
Yes.
Morning. Ambassador, please. It's sad what is happening, but I just felt very sad when I visited my brother's funeral house yesterday, looking at our sister, the state she's in, the children, and like everyone has said, we are not in a good space. For now, let's see how we can encourage them, Kafuaya's family. It brought a lot of tears to my face, and I imagined my own children. And for now, let's all see what we can do just by showing up. It's also one of the ways showing to say, look, we are not happy with what is happening. It's really very sad for someone to be killed like a dog, for someone to be killed like a criminal who was far from it. It was sad to be told to say your brother had so much dreams, just at 50, or he planned to help so many people in his neighborhood. You know, I just felt, which Zambia are we living in? Is it the same Zambia our parents fought for, died for? Is it the same country, or are we in another land? It's let's just our brothers, sisters who can manage. Let's go there. Whether you have got money, whether you don't have money, whether you can walk in the bus, just to show up at the funeral house. It gives a family. It will give a family a different outlook on how.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. I agree with you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Okay, I'm anonymous.
Yes,
And
anonymous.
if I contribute when I quality, Nanga never Ezra over there and that could have a position as Copper Belt Minister. Whichever Copper Belt Bakesa pocket, I feel for him. I really feel for him. If you're not for Kulanda Film Choir.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello?
Yes, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
From Bansa, Peter Wadia.
Peter Wadia Landenipo.
Vambasata inendiwa mwenso sana kufilistika mu Zambia. Bantu nshatala mbona po ya election ya this year uko bachita deploy ama soja nishaba elections na yapwa. Mushe democracy twarela ndai na tufotra mu 1991 hii democracy awe. Kwema Zambiani apa tuime no kulolesha ushama election yali free and fair. Ba European Union ba SADC lekeni tulande pale ya ma election tunatwikala mu cyalo cya mwenso ba mwamba election kunu maestri ya Zambia fe yali tefyo Zambia yali ifyawe ba mwamba lekeni tuime fwe mazambiani tuirwire fwe bene. This our second freedom. Ngatwalaika ile fide mungu tutinya tyo tabachite petition tabachite shani fwe bala chula ni fwe ma citizens twala chula bamwamba ndemi batule chula. My brother nshatala mbonapo mtoto kafwa ya afwa brand Mundubile okulanda kwa tibufi alebepa the same government kusanda ati mtoto kafwa ya nafwa busheni nshitule yakwisa tatukwete amenso tatukwete na mano. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, Bamwamba Mwabombe Nyumkoi.
Endita.
Ni fwewo mkoi tatulumbulwa. Wecho ndefo planda chakwe bati. Kukukana lumbulwa nomba kwala twalilila. So bonse nomba mashina tatu akwate mchalo. Yesu. Ndefo afyo kuchitapi ukuifo bene bonse kwa bene Zambia. Tuilai chita victimize. Ukulinga na klipo yo mbwene. Fyo balela ndaba kateka. Ifo bene fwe vantu. Nifo bofwe bafuile numa. Ukukosapo no kutwala petanshi. Tituikale mchalo echakwe bati. Tuletina. Pantu nere okesa abafuti ukuvota papantanshi. Pika bafe chimochi netafyaka chinje. Fyonse fena fishi bikwe fintu kwe batecho bale chitirefi kukanye fine nomba ifwe. Fwe bale luishi. Dia bantu babidi. Bale luishi sha ifwe. So ifwe tuiraisa pamula basa patule ichita victimize. Umwenso. Uyuini omwenso ulengele kwe bati nefingfire befi. Abo bazumani abo balabeni kofi. Chachi ne bali tisha. Na ibukisha nefi alandire uyu mukashana. Waba Treason.Police kana mponi Priska alilandiro kwe bacha abantu balefwayo kuini shobuteko alilandiro mukashana ulamule umpa kuna kuli kufwe bantu alilani pana musapota balebeka fyongi bazumani zimba kuti baisa piribuka awo mukai chakana kana tie ni tuime ifwe bene tupange petition ifwe bene fwe bene bacharo ni fwego balabale tulichisha ko fechimono kwe bati umufyasha afyala abana nomba ulio mfyasha kwa tukumulekera fyonse ifo fwe ngati twa support ulio mfyashi era nomba kwisa vika pali treatment mulengu mfa mkwaye
mkwaye
ukwisa vika pali treatment ya bana mayo ukabati bana mayo bale bachusha ifo bana mayo tabatu chindika mcharo chesi dekeni nande kwe chintu chimo mu cabinet kwali bana mayo babiri prominent babiri abana mayo tabatara basupporta po abana awaba kui abakonga abo bene bakateka panuma na babe alepunda ma election tabatara supporta pona mayo mnango ngati batu pali inosa kuti batuchindika ifo bana mayo bali tusalula tientu chitapo chomwe kwato mwenso na abalanda bene bakateko ko bati kumalawi bantu bayiminero chali posele nchitalekeni tulangi okwata ngati waikala zi nishitwaikala zinga flue isha umutwe panshi epo na pera mkoi.
Thank you. Yeah, let's continue to take the calls.
Isha okubaba basangire bandikisha mu polling station because nga bali kwata bamilisha ngebo babikira mu polling station then strong for kwe bandikisha bandikisha teko account abatanga no mura nomba babantu ababalenda abayire baya chitakaputive abantu abali pama accounting center nokuchinja mali zawo tawabantu nendefu kweshima niba nani again second abantu bamubenya bwabaire ingira ba Brian Mundubile oko bayikeri abene no kuyayipa abantu kubana ba Brian Mundubile no kusenda poto kwa ifisa bushabu abantu nshi shepali bamilisha niba nani apa milisha afuira kwata ma characteristics ushemilisha muntu wa musangusha nombe fiti fetika ukiba milisha site ni kuisa nombe ya mu milisha ya mapesa ba ambassador pero inendero mbako na mtungurushi nzisha iminina muri ama election shireka ba Mundubile beka na ba Brian Mundubile beka batume amashu munche ndesha na ambassador mu maruro areas na munshira munche ndesha mbita beshibe nefitika pantungurushi shitabeshibe nefyachitika pa ma elections so nendeba kuti valentungurushi varabapokera ma votes ndashimbi ntungurushi shiriko ara indina ba Mundubile ba maketsuru tubomfyo mutendo kandi turi bachibote lubuto lero katwime rushe kwentunguru tuchite voice out ukufumira mu structures no kwisafika pamuro communication wa ambassador ibe potuikara tondoro inafyo ndeita kofi no kushwa status ya ntungurushe soko shiri no kuchita communicate te kubike charoni fire out kuchita voice out in the normal way nama churches oko tira tuituri kulingana na ma structures yangu tira tuituri kuma changes batura ndireko ba ambassador tuime foi bantu iyi misango ya aba bantu yachira bamutotoka fora nomba iri ashitarira ishibiko uteni ba nani again kuri abo bambya abena kwambira fe kumongo runi zubi rumi muntu mo aba peaceful bari bekata bababika ku prison bado uyu karufyanya yena ule yangalira ku cyaro kureta hana kimucharo kwa ubura ma papers uko yaposa mu drainage up to now ishira mfa kweli ya shiri yonse pali karufyanya emilisha nomba bamilisha obalera ndabanye binzipo uko tatuishime ni bana komanda waba milisha obene ali kwisawa ba Mundubile because ifo tureba mwana komanda wabo abamilisha ni karufyanya no kurefe bareta fyonza ma activities to arifu mwana free on record na pera ba ambassador.
Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Mwamba.
Yes, caller.
Mwamba. Nene mngoni. Nilimuno murusaka. Yamba ni kwa kuti chewe chita kuyonkalira uko kwa mene kwa zungu kwa wechita bwino, which is giving us a platform. Lomba. Ipo vizungu ni vanu vamelisha apio chani siviza mveka apa cha tufuna lomba Mwamba chokankoni mwe mukaba kuti let us do this in a peaceful manner. I think papita uyu muntu atirobe ukaona kuti wayoika mwana wake ku ZNS ochitira to prepare wala mwana olandira lini ndalama kulingana na mwakulabirira eve mwana waika ku ZNS olandira lini ndalama meaning kusogolo kufuna mkonzekere so that akamsire lomba chikankali munganisha pabanja ichi chalo techifutikira atata neongazi yao ili pansi apa chifukwa izofuna kuti tiseo tipeze mtendere lomba uyu wamwatipasa mkambochita vizungu tichelwe tenti paname tonse setili kuno chifukwa yuvutika lomba ni Mundubile lini ni makebilini kwa mavoti yangu chene sankaneo ndecha kufuna kutachi chingirije so ni kungwa bwino ukambotipasa platform weo Mwamba Manuele so tenti paname tonse azimai tenti paname kuvuli tikuza tazibambo tuimira kuti tonse lomba puntana tendi puntane ngali nikuchayana tendi chayane to be an eye for an eye, wheelbarrow for a wheelbarrow. Aba masoja ni wamene wamkutiziyere uyo ndi ali kusogolo koma masoja wonse ali pansi apa ni wovutikira tikumvwa kulingana na mavuto andi tili ku side imodzi koma tikamulekerera apuse mambala wa kanthu tendi paname munjira ili yonse matero chawama mandevu mwe muli kukopa belt mavoti vasu vete vota ndiye vamene vochingiwa ndiye uvutishiwa ni Mundubile lini ni makebilini ayi koma seote vanthu lomba ofuna kuti tikumane one on one tenti paname naye akainde ngati nguti paya ndiye nthawi yoti paya kuti uchalo chimasule na ngazi yasu tichetekere lini ameneyo yakuti mfuti ya masoja apa tenti kumane one on one na masoja ziko mungako Emmanuel.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, yes, Babu Kashan.
Ndika man mweba ni landeni po.
I'm crying. So, inandeli that you go in a Kuliba Zambia. Zambia, they have let us down as a country. They remember they took an oath to protect the land and its people. Number bad. Last, if we're going to follow the formal way or the peaceful way to protest the election, and filing that petition as soon as possible. And whatever organization can petition, please. I'm appealing to whatever organization. And I'm going back to Zambia. Zambia, there are no honorable men that can help this situation. They have failed to protect the land and its people. It's a shame on Zambia. It's a shame. If there are any honorable men and women in the army, please let them do the right thing. I thank you.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Flema katinga kutina flema imwe nenga kutina chashani mwerando kwebati uve peace namono muntu wakaena tare bomsha peace kubantu ngabaipa ba mtotoka kwa kusheni peace iyo abantu bareko kwebati babomsha inshire isuma baye kumakoti bachite petition ale bapera ama charges ayaburokurondoroka icyatirizo kusheni peace ni sharesa muri peace umuntu okay ngamulelando kwebati turechita ifintu muri peace to ala chita organize for vena Zambia tichite muri peace tichite protest muri peace ero for vena Zambia na ifo ningarande kakwe bati mwenso tufunyepo mwenso ero mwamko kwe bati kumanza bambo kuchita protest na imwenga muri always imeni mwambe kuchita protest abama soja na abapolisi abatabashinguruka Zambia yose te bantu abengi abakwe bati bengaratina ishimingarato esho arebo mbyama soja na abapolisi ukulatinisha kwa abantu mwamona even inshinaishwa nokushwati ama election taendele bwino ero ambe kulasongerera bali amasoja na abapolisi kwe bati bese kubani so kwe bantu iseni tufunyepo mwenso no tureranda befin tureranda tufunyepo mwenso tuime tuchite protest yofine fintu bamwamba bareranda timunjire isuma kuchita protest no muinefe chali randa pado kwe bati ngamwamone finta piriwe no kuchita protest so na ifo bebekara charo iseni tufunyepo mwenso bana mayo ngabareranda bareranda panani media barera tabakwete omuntu omboyo mwa nyinshi walayisalira umwandole china jona lakwa abalabe n'abalwiro buntungo balikire so ififindi fere nani kanenga twalekera fe abena Mundubile na makebi balerusha abena Zambia balerusha abena Zambia to batinsiyo bwi ombanga to abalekera leka bari amakata bakwete pali inyishita bari bashindire ko muri fo abena Zambia finshi twalaje so yaraye nama structures yaraye na parties eba kwire bachita organize kwambukula chita protest Zambia yonse not ati now not ati ndi ati umansalangula kukasama kweka Zambia yonse fe protect cha pamukumofi mwalasa ngokweba yonse kitafya bombe finjale kisha shindungulu shindu bayibira amavoti so mwenzo efo ningalanda tufunyepo mwenzo nokuchita organize panchi twambe okuchita organize kumono kwebati uyu muntu echusha bena Zambia bantu ngati wamulekerera ababene ba opposition bonse mwebekerezi mwebene mukabafekte tapalipo mukachita mwakatale ikala paka kuna kalaka mu president olete naye asili ngasoa and aretesta petition kwamba kuli ba Garungu ali bapokere abachinga kyonse abena bomani abapokere apanomba ale chitafe develop mu misango chakwe eshibyo umuntu so esen tuime twikatani twimine chapa muntu bombere pamu kuchita protest munchite isuma Zambia yonse notati one side Zambia yonse romwangu abanenu kuba barechita protest naimwe imenyu uko twala mona ubenya abantu bachetikere ngala basalanganya Zambia yonse so kuto aponta kumwe sindu.
Thank you. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Good morning, Ambassador Anonymous here.
Yes, Anonymous, make your contribution.
Thank you. Ambassador, in industry agree with the previous callers, almost all of them, Warandire. The role chelo, was part of a meeting with my fellow mobilization team. Naturally, over to Irin Resa, Atangisha, Bookstank, carried looking up on himself for things to wait. And that being the case, we are faced with a monster that case. Ambassador, if you sticker, that way, the demonstration ya sticker the election, if we are in the electoral poverty, via church, you can't remove him from power using the ballot. Observers have submitted their report that documented widespread electoral malpractices, which also included I'm a soldier. I can give you a testimony, Ramwamba. I was given the task of supervising the polling agency in my constituency. And what I saw is something that up to now, I've never believed. You cannot have soldiers in an environment where there is no war. And this is what we are telling the EU observers when they visited our constituency. Ramwamba, if we don't stand up, no one will on our behalf. And if you if judge Anistari Valonga, Mukandira Mulonga, washita issue call outs to PM and MZ, all this is just meant to ensure one person rules with an iron fist. So we register with Nessa Mamba. Someone is ready to burn the entire village so that he can rule over the ashes. Nomba nishi. Nishi twala ikarashani. This is not the Zambia that we wanted. This is not the Zambia we wanted. So, in agreeing with the previous callers, Navala Tumopovandi, Ambassador, we need to stand up for our country. Point in Mukumana Kwanti. You're not 2021 to the Andapota case and officer. Why am I saying this? We heard what Kavesha had said before the elections to say there will be further changes to the constitution. And if you ask me, FNH Monasha Poverty, they will consider removing the presidential term limit. And even the power to vote might be taken away from us. We should expect these things. If we stand, we will just sit down and watch.
Thank you, caller. So, thank you so much.
The area we do realize is the better, Ramwamba. The area, the better. And the president was already said where he himself said, why would you remove someone from power? The issue of removing the term of office for the mayor, so that will be used as a pretext for the removal of presidential term limit for him. We must stand as a country, otherwise it will be on our own, remember. I submit.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Good morning, Ambassador.
Good morning.
I would like to remain anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contribution.
Ambassador, like the previous callers have said, we really need to stand up for our rights. And what I would do also urge is we should push in our petition as quickly as possible. Like we have heard that they even intend to do an inauguration by Monday or so. So let's quickly organize ourselves and push in the petition as quickly as possible. Ambassador, I would like to end there. We really need to stand for ourselves.
Thank you. Thank you, caller. Thank you.
Hello?
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Good morning, Mr. Ambassador Mwamba. This is Teska calling from Lusaka, Matero.
Teska, make your contribution.
You know, the only disease that we are having with the people of Zambia is fear. Fear is the most disease that can kill our democracy in this country. We forget to say what Makepi Zulu and Brand Mundubile are doing is of the best interest of us, the Zambian people. But the only problem that we are having is fear. And that fear now will kill our democracy completely. Those people, we can't say that those people, they should be in forefront to fight for this. Already we know perfect way to say UPND and its leaders, they are very much eager to lock those people in jail so that no one will be in front for us, the poor Zambians. So now, my simple advice now, or my simple request, maybe if we Zambians who are feeling pain, maybe if we can engage our chiefs, because we have chiefs. We don't. I'm not saying that we have to tell the chiefs to be in forefront, but we have to request. We have to go and request from our chiefs where we are coming from to say, you see, these our people are languishing in prisons. Others are being mistreated, but they are just quiet. They are the voice who can help us to talk, to do this issue. Apart from them, nobody is going to help us. And if we expect that Brand Mundubile and Makebizu will be in forefront to fight for us, those people, they did their part. They volunteered themselves to be in front of us so that we support them. And surely we supported them. We saw that this election, it was rigged. So now we can't expect those people to be public, to still keep on talking, keep on defending us. No, it's up to us now, Zambians. If we can stand, like there's a certain woman who has said, we the people, we have to stand now. We have to go and petition. And it's true. We are the ones now who are supposed to go and petition. We can't expect Brand Mundubile and Makebi. Those people, they are afraid. They can't move. They can't do anything at this point in time. If now what they are going to do now, they will just keep quiet, because we know that if anything, if they come out, they will be arrested. So now we can't keep on risking them to be in prison because we are afraid of speaking, or we are afraid to take steps. It's up to us now to do the native. Thank you very much.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello.
Yes, caller.
Thank you so much for the wonderful program. I'll first start with paying my condolences to the family of Honorable Mtete Kafaya.
Thank you.
It's quite a very painful, situation. More especially us that congregated with him. We knew him like on a personal level. At church, he was a down-to-earth man, very good, humble, someone who was serving in church, and taking away such a person in such a manner in cold blood. And it's really painful and it's so touching for us that knew him. And coming to to the issue of petition, we need to go ahead. That petition need to be filed. The people who are pushing to say the petition shouldn't go to court, they know exactly what's on the ground. So the best that we can do is just to go ahead and petition. And whatever Chris Ruman was saying, let's not even pay attention. Because those are the people that don't even have an interest for the nation. They don't think of the future, thinking like they don't have families. You can't come out like that, like a sellout. You're not even thinking of the future. You're not even thinking of your children or your family. Why would you go ahead and do such a thing? Someone that was close to President Brian Mundubile. How will people look at you? So although just for you to go to prison, look at the Secretary General Celestine. They arrested him. Why is he not being arrested? Because he was also the Secretary General. Just because there's a sellout, she stole this nation, the entire millions of people in this country. Why? Why would someone do that? So those are the things that we need to look at as Zambians. These days, people think they know what's on the ground, they know what people are doing. There's no one that can come to me and convince me to say, do this for the sake of the entire millions of people. Why can't I stand up? Why can't I stand for the millions of people, speak on their behalf? Where is this country going to? So it only takes us as Zambians, us that are feeling that pain, that we know, us who are on the ground, knowing exactly what happened. We're the ones that are supposed to stand out. We're the ones that are supposed to fight. Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu did the job for us. It's up to us now to defend those people where they are. They need to sit and rest because they did it for us. So we need to protect this country. Really, Ambassador, it's so painful to see how this country is running, or how, people that are not even considerate, they're not even thinking of the millions of people, even the future generation, where are we taking this country? It's so painful, Ambassador. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, Ambassador Mamba.
Yes, sir.
We are speaking to this is Mr. Mlenga.
Thank you.
It's very unfortunate. The happenings going on in the country. You have seen this. This is even I've always said, even a 2-year-old child is able to predict the maneuvers of the UPND government. There was the issue of there is the issue of elections, which they lost terribly. Now they want to divert the attention to the issue of militia, which is not even here nor there. A party, let's look at how people that plan for these issues of militia, they may even take 5 years planning to do this. But this is a party that has, just before elections, it was formed, I think it should just have been 2 months before elections. When did they have the time to plan for these issues they're talking about? Huh? And it's very unfortunate that Zumanzimba is able to behave like this. I think he's the one who was giving the information, even planning whatever he had planned. But there's a time for everything. The Bible is very clear in Ecclesiastes that there's a time for everything. Everything will come to pass. People are going to suffer now. But at an appropriate time, God is going to intervene. But then, what I've seen, I think from the people that I've spoken to myself, what we have in Zambia is a fear. We are cowards now in Zambia. The people I've spoken to just after elections, when you talk to them, but they'll just tell you, enough people, I think we forge ahead. And when President HH tested the waters, is on Bill 7. He wanted to see how we are going to react. There was no reaction from the people. From there, the 74 bills. So he has already tested the waters, and he knows that Zambians do not react. No matter what I'm going to do, from whichever decision is going to make, the Zambians are not going to react. And he has taken it that way. And again, even when we call for prayers do not work like that. God helps people who help themselves. The best we can do is to rise. This is a person who was saying the people have to rise. What is difficult, him has been stopping people from even protesting. When he was going to court, he was going with the masses. He was being allowed by other leaders who were actually partial and who were Democrats. They allowed him to do that. But he has not allowed others to behave like that. That's how people who are bad, who are not Democrats, behave. It's very unfortunate. And if we are going to stay, if we are going to live the way we are living, Ambassador, I'm in Southern Province right now. There's some work I'm doing here. If you look at the way people have been brainwashed from here, the young man that I was talking about, they were even saying, no, we can't allow Mundubile cannot just come. He has never been a councillor. He comes to be president. And they are even going to an extent of not allowing a member to rule this country. I'm right here. This is what they have been saying, which is very unfortunate. Because he has planted that seed in them just to show that the other group is quite bad. And this is very unfortunate. It's high time that the Zambian people can rise. We rise, we remove fear like people did during the struggle for independence. Otherwise, I think our democracy will be no more. Actually, if we are not going to rise, our democracy is no more.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Ambassador Mamba, good morning.
Proceed to make the contribution.
Ambassador ndeyamba okulanda kuti chiwemba chitila tikuimba kati kushanshana lesa. Just as the previous caller has said, lesa afwa bayafwa. Ngatatwa yafwe nama pepo yene yabomba na action. Ne chitekelo chine cha bule nchito chalifwa. Bamwambe cha namba 2. Nga kuliama marisha ama rebels abalefu kusende chalo. Mukupitira muchipani chaba Mundubile. Umune wa chipani ni Ezra Tembo. Ezra Tembo ali imini na kudagama shoti kundola pachipani chakwe awina. And ewa sirena sponsor ba Mundubile ngefyale landa. Na ba marisha be nabo balefu taking over chalo using the illegal way. Leading leader ni Ezra Tembo. Ezra Tembo assuming okuba president wa chipani. Ichale picha iminimuma election ichale using illegal means to participate in my election chawina na MP 60 bafwa enokumupela ma MP aya mixed proportion 12 then ama charges yabu merisha na bungepo ya kubambya abantu ebo wachire sponsor takwa befyawo tafile panga sense ba secretary general abali ba plan ba melisha na rebels muchipani cha ba Mundubile ni ba Zumanizimba so Zumanizimba eba kwete script because even the campaign strategy nendalama na fyonse kufyale foma abajiwe ni bazimbani bazumani na ba Ezra Tembo. So the first call abantu abakwikata abeshibe fyale stika ineyo malisha bapangire bantu babiri umino wa chipani Ezra Tembo na secretary general Zumanizimba feta ababiri. Ero number 2 na udowa kuruzo ruturuwa rufumulia. Because abantu bali fema sponsor. To Mr. Sponsor, they were just like a flanter. Our stations, planning and everything. When I was claim. Muchibe mbatu tira uti. Musanga pano na mwine pano. Umine wapalia. Ni abo bantu babiri Ezra na uliati ula doctor wa rufumo. So yawene babiri ba mwamba emo bafile vest vekate. Na mwisho wela sheteka abantu. Even the international community, international media, which they buy to this cheap propaganda. If even to fifi ishkwetene nchito, file unaula fie chalo. Ndeweke chapo. vakapokola ikateneza ezala tembo ewishive vyonse vyalechitika na ulio wa lufumo before tamunachita peso wikata Mundubile na Makebi. I thank you. Hello, Mamba.
Yes, just hold on. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Ambassador?
Yes, please
Hello?
make your contribution.
Good morning, I'm calling from here. Don't mention my name. To those who follow history of Zambia, I remember period to 2021 election, Father Rupupa told the nation saying, it's better to rig the election than to allow this person to win. That was a prophecy, and people did not take it seriously. People did not take it seriously. So exactly, even used the Nyanja language saying, chomwe chizaza, chizazera tonse. The man of God was cascaded. They mentioned this and that, those names, said he's bad, is what is encouraging wrong things. He knew what was going to come for Zambians. That's why we are here. So again, I'm calling upon Dr. Chris Zimba, those who are trying to frustrate the president to petition the election. They know why they are doing so. But majority of us Zambians are not happy with HH. HH hasn't been a good person. Kaunda told us that this person, if he rules this country, the country will be divided. But people ignored. And I'm using one word that Dr. Sampa used. He said, the European supporters are dissented, which means HH removed the dissent on their minds. So whatever he says, whether true or not, they follow. Thanks.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, Ambassador. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Ambassador, I don't want to waste much of your time. I only have two points to appeal to Zambians. My first appeal, I'm appealing to our Zambia army. I know they know that the army commander and the current president have staged a coup d'etat. And I know there are decent Zambian officers there. I'm appealing to them to stand up and defend the constitution. They have a duty to defend the constitution. My second appeal is to Zambians. If we are leaving this to Mr. Mundubile and Makebi, then we are cheating ourselves. We need to stand up and defend the constitution ourselves. Let's go to the streets tomorrow. Let's go to the streets. I'm not saying we go and riot, but we can go to the streets and protest. A protest is backed by the constitution. We need to defend this. If we miss out on this one, then we should forget about our future. Thank you.
Thank you, callers. Thank you. We'll begin to wind down. Thank you, callers. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello?
Yes, caller.
Yes.
Make your contribution. Sorry, caller. Okay. Yes. You are saying?
Since the government, Irelando Kwebati, Brian Mundubile, and Makebi Zulu, they were reading a group which wanted to take over government in the illegal way. Number, Kulyumungu, therefore wake sharp, in the name of Ezra Tembo. Ezra Tembo was a candidate in the same group. He won a seat in Indola. He has congratulated President Hakainde Hichilema, and he wants to benefit 60 seats plus 12 seats from the militia, the military group which the government is pursuing at it was operating illegally. No mbaba mwamba mweba sambirila. How come umwine wa chipani ba government bale fo kumulela umwine wa chipani but over sponsor balia ulo umwine wa chipani ebo bale fo anomba bakonenkeshe nomba ifi trefo ya wena Zambia batonto esana script kweba ati ala umufi bulaya no kuwela. That's why ndela ndo kweba ati baeza la tembo na bazumani zimba available first because a marketing by their organization. Hello Chimbi. Ngatulelando kweba chintunga chabi patendu chikondeme. Ido government it was trying to destroy PF. But Freddie Membe, Vali Kalava, KBF and other people. Valikele quite. Ido mulwele mulei saburugutali. Chalinga ma wusta prevent ukutali fotabula fika mulukungu. Where are we today? And where are they? Because they thought if PF is going to be destroyed, they are going to benefit. But where are they today? What do we have in Zambia? Even the little democracy we're talking about, even the freedom of expression we used to talk about, now that's why Tulando Kwebati, Lusambu, no Shali Mwakabamu. If the Zambian people are not going to stand and fight for their freedom, we are doomed. I thank you, Amama.
Hello. Thank you very much. With a caller waiting here. Hello, caller. Please tell us, tell us your name and where you're calling us from, and make your contribution.
Good morning.
Hello. Good morning, caller.
I'm calling from Copper Belt.
Thank you. Make your contribution.
Just 2 or 3 things from the Falkland Dakoba Mwamba Weso. As Zambia, if we are not going to stand and fight ourselves, one thing everyone going up, dictatorship, if you're near the corner, division, if you're near the corner, that while you feel like a Pali, this evil governance, but don't make any mistake, otherwise the country will be divided. Now, so I'm appealing to each and everyone by Mchalo Chief saying to him to share for months, saying to me for months. Now, I'm going to conquer a program here for the Rondo Labonso, dictatorship for you. One wins over to pay. One wins over to pay. So, never on the Romo staying to me for any one to do it for a otherwise, it's going to take a win. Why? Wingambo can a petition. If you about looked at my election, I say fair and fair. Let us just do the petition, but to make push the petition because we know how we voted. We know the president what we want, but why is it that the police wabashitira kumo, bonzi ba ECZ wabashitira kumo, ngama chief bali kuisha. Now women in Ishna wabashitira because they are quiet. Ever since these things started, they are quiet. That we still so this governance is very evil, it's very wicked. How many people have been killed? How many people have been killed? Please, let us stand and fight ourselves and fight our generation. Otherwise, the dictatorship, declare, no one is going to say no. This person is very evil. This governance is very evil. The only person who was saved, supporter. The only person who was saved, so us, we need to stand. But why is it today? One man in a soldier all over the country. For what? So please, I'm appealing to each and everyone to stand up and fight ourselves. Otherwise, the dictatorship is just near the corner. Thank you, Amma.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Yes, Ambassador. Yes. I'm Banda Steven, Chipangali, Eastern Province.
Yes, my brother. Make your contribution.
Chambamba mafuno fusa amwamba kuti nkhani ya petition ya vantu vaimika orechita proceed. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Make your contribution.
Ya nati ni mafusa kuti nkhani ya petition vaimirira or vaita continue.
Richita continue.
Vaita continue. Ambiare mekezeke tiri kumbuyo kwao. Vachosepo mantha vachitetu chazoona imatuko chitika because iye amekobamba kubapasa ma treason ya vantu 11 vamene vanagwira anawapasa treason ni mulandu wakuti ulibe phindu likambouona kulibe treason yamene angatoka kugwira vantu kunyumba kuti vaita treason and president afoti vaziganiza bwinobwino mofasa ziko ni aise mazambiani asativeve yayi ziko ni amazambiani ngati waluza chabe se mazambiani Steve Sesa akuluakulu akambati sabaza zake anavangwangwa ili mutu ndio nkhwangwa romba iliulira mitu mwatu chivototiuza anatiuza kuti uyu munthu si munthu wabwino koma sitinamve pofuna one Zambia one nation chifukwa chake tempasa mpando takhale president lero nizi zamwe tikumana nazo so mazambiani please tapapata imirire tuone chilungamo chake chithandizike si nziko lathu yese mazambiani ndise amene tivota tamene make asatiye sangazivotere so please napapata kulikonse mwanamvera echiyechi uluza mnaluza kale malume apa kotokani kumunda mnaluza kale lekana azana achite proceed tifuna mtendere muno mziko zikomo kwambiri.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Oh, man. Caller, please mute the other device. Yes, caller. Mute the other device, please.
Halo bamwamba.
Shimieni fyo mleo mfira koyama mulande pafoni na nguseleni po. Abena chipata fie. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Yes, good morning, Honorable Mwamba. Just a few words. I heard one caller was talking about that this man, HH, was testing the waters. Truly, he was testing the waters. But also the Zambian people, we've been testing the waters with him. We are seeing how far he could go. And that waiting has yielded this, what we are experiencing now. So now the action is needed. We are a Christian nation, but as the other callers have said, we can't just stand on being Christian alone. Work has to go with faith. If we don't act, this man will take us for granted. It will be worse. He's a terrorist. The group that he has are criminals. All of them, no one thinks. Even this Ezra Tembo, this Martin Piri and all that, those people are criminals. They entered into this, they knew what they wanted. They knew what they wanted when they were compacting in a group with the Brian's team. They knew what they wanted. But my point is one, let the people cast out all the fear. Whatever comes, because ichi tukongere nomba apa chikuru kuchilapo. Chikuru, nga tuachireka fye ichi nisichapa. Because him was testing us, he has proved that we cannot do anything. All this that he has been passing the constitution in 1 week, what articles he passed and all those, he tested. Now with the elections, he's testing. So this is the last resort. So us, we have been caught by surprise. We never expected someone could be as bad as this. And we waited, let's see where it is taking us. Let's see but now it's worse. We know that is evil. Let us act. Not to kill, not to do anything, but let us demonstrate in the street with rightful reason. Because we cannot just depend on Makebi and Mundubile to do everything for us. They are also pressed. They are also, I think their lives are more in danger than even ours. So let us now rise as a Zambian people, demonstrate in the street peacefully, but we know what we want. This man is too much. We can't be suffering for one man. Better one man to die than the rest of the people. Thank you.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello?
Yes, caller.
Yes, Mr. Emmanuel Mwamba.
Yes, caller.
You're speaking to Mr. Nkoma, calling you all the way from Mundola.
Mr. Nkoma, your other device is live. We can hear ourselves in the background.
Okay, I've muted the other device.
Thank you. Make your contribution.
Yes, Mr. Mwamba. My contribution is that we saw what the UPND government did to say they wanted to charge Mr. Makebi Zulu and Brian Mundubile for treason.
Your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Yeah, so let me know Murusaka.
Mkwai.
I'm challenging the Law Association of Land, and I'll keep calling. And this time that I'll call, I'll talk about these 2 points. Law Association of Zambia, let them petition if they mean well for the Zambian people. Number 2, any honorable men that are remaining in the army. What are they doing? I know there are some compromised, but what are those a few honorable men doing in the army? That's my challenge. I'm challenging them. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Bamwamba wera panono. I know namunaka sana mwanaka bamwamba. Lelo kunaka kwenu ekwalatu. Isha, Elo would even want you to be there maybe the whole day, but it's simply impossible. Bamwamba, I just want to appeal. Basmani Zimba, Nave never inanikane a party and Mundubile, Ukwebati, Mwadiba, Evo Sana. You cannot use the people in that way and you dump them. If you really wanted to make whoever move on in this life, you wouldn't have involved Makebi Zulu na Mundubile. You wouldn't have involved them. And number, what I want to tell them is one thing. Apopo muli, nemove mwalikwata abana, mwalikwata family. And I know deep down your hearts, you are so guilty. Sent guilty. Yeah. Lerwacho mule chita, chivi, pantu ine, ivoti diandi, tetiripitation no muela. Eva imwe neba zumani, and the rest of you, ma voti Yesu, ayoyo mule yumfuira po amaka. Apo fye ma voti Yesu, tule ya patali. Fwema Zambians, mwali tuikata pakanwa, and we are very nice people. Why are we so nice? Because this is how we were taught by our father, Dr. Kaunda. He brought peace in Zambia. He cut tribalism in Zambia. And all these years, we've been moving on smoothly. Nombe chondenye bachakwe bati apo fye twalini ne 4 a.m. no kuyatantama no kuvota n'amavoti yesu twalwisha no kwishibwa twayishibwa kwa tayama voti na tuwi imwe bonse imwe mulechi mona pantifo nomba fwe mazambia mwatuisule emitweleke nimieve elo chindie chondefo okulanda wherever you are, please rise up. This is your time. Because if you don't do it now, that's the end. Bonse mulebu tukamo mzambi omo. Mulebu tukamo. So tieni tuime. Ela chinje chonde fokulanda. Ufuire kwa abana bambi abantu. Not only Mwamba. Mwamba is not the only one giving information. Kube kona bambi. Filimba na bambi. Abakulanda kona abantu kwe bati chintu na chilipa. Abantu na beshi bati na chilipa. And I'm appealing to our Bakateka. We respect you. We respected you even before. That's why we voted for you, Bakateka. But Bakateka, what you have done or what you are doing is something not good to the nation. Bakateka, remember, Zambia is big. Zambia is not yours. Imamuli ntungulu shife Yesu. Apa afuirira ba Yesu Kristu. Na ifo tu ala afuira po. Nga kutu tanika mle tutanika. One thing, I'm appealing now to the army. Imwe ba army. I am a uniform mwafuala. Yeah, very important. That's one you should remember. Elo mwale chitavao. Your uniform mwafuala yadi very important. Let me take you. There was a time in Zambia when people were putting on fabric which looked more or less the same. Vale vekata. Ukala tamufu yokula fuala yama isisi palene na masoja panto masoja very important. Imwe baziari. Help us. Vakapokola. Help us. Turn back. Go and talk to your president. You can't put us in this. We are rising up. We're individuals. Remember that. Remember that. We are rising. Thank you, Amanda.
Okay, we should be winding up. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hi, good evening. My name is Katumbi.
Yes, my brother.
And Ambassador, it's a very sad state of affair where our country is right now. And I remember I've called you on several occasions whereby I've asked, what is the European Union doing? Because if you remember very well, Hakainde Hichilema, when he was found in the treason case, Madam Scotland came all the way to Zambia to talk to Edgar Lungu. And Edgar Lungu listened and he said, okay, for the sake of peace, can we have Hakainde Hichilema, whatever treason cases, because whatever HH did, it was a treason case. Look at my brother-in-law, Mutoto Kafwaya. Mutoto Kafwaya, there's nothing he did. But he has been killed. And now we have the European Union certifying our elections as credible. We have the Americans certifying our elections as credible. We have other countries. Please, what are we doing about this? We need to go back to the principles of Pan-Africanism. This man from South Africa, the former president of South Africa, not this one, the crooked guy who is there now, the other guy
Thabo
who
Mbeki.
was there, Thabo Mbeki, had said it. There is no Pan-Africanism in Africa. Look what is happening in our country. This is a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame what is happening in Africa. Look, we can't have soldiers in our roads. We can't have soldiers in our markets. We can't have soldiers in streets. What is happening, Ambassador? You, as an ambassador, you are supposed to guide the nation and log in to even ICC. ICC should come in. HH has killed so many people. This, if you look at this plan, it started way long. Mambirima was killed. Of course, we cannot prove it. But look at what is happening right now. This is a shame. It's a shame, and we are not going to accept these elections as credible. Mao Sampa, it's a shame what he's doing. This man is, I don't know what I can call him. Look at what is happening right now in Zambia. People can talk. People cannot even express their views. Why? Because they're scared. Ziele has no right to run our country. We didn't elect Ziele. We didn't bring in Ziele as our commander-in-chief. No. But Ziele is an in-law to Hakainde. Bamwamba, please, can we bring in sanity in our country? This is not about tribe. This is about sanity. This is not about tribe. This is about human dignity. Kaunda said it. He warned us. But we ignored the warning signs. If we are not going to be allowed to log in for these elections as a malpractice, then I think it's pointless for us to be talking about this all the time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That was our last caller. God bless you. We'll see you in the evening.